Pep Guardiola in his fourth season of Manchester City, of course, following the unprecedented domestic success of last campaign. But where are they heading to under him? Could it possibly be the end for Guardiola this year? Given that they lost the derby, it's the fourth defeat already this season. They don't seem to be a patch on the side that was able to be so consistent towards the end of last year.
Well, I think if it's the end, it'll probably be in his terms. Because I think he's done more than enough that he can have a blip. And ultimately, and look, they are off colour. They are struggling defensively. They're without Sergio Aguero, and it's clear to see why Gabriel Jesus does not get a game when the Sergio Aguero is fit, because he's not a patch on him. However, this writing Guardiola off when he could effectively go out and win the Champions League this season instead of the Premier League is a little bit, I think, dramatic. Now, the form has struggled and domestically this season. There's not an argument for that. And City fans will tell you, oh, we want to win the English Premier League. We're not bothered about any UEFA competition. But he is, and so are the owners. So they could do that this season, and listen, all would be well again.
Where do you think, I mean, you talk about defensive, we've been talking about the centre-back issue and all of that stuff. Is there any other piece that's not making sense for them at the moment? Do they look more fatigued in certain areas? Is there a little bit of age creeping into the squad?
Well, I think as good a player as Rodri is, they've lost the 34-year-old Fernandinho, and I think he's a big loss from the middle of the park. I really do, and I think having to put him back there at centre-back is a problem. We know David Silva's in the last year of his contract. Otamendi at 31, I wouldn't say old, but he looks as if he's got a lot of miles in the legs. Sergio Aguero just needs to get himself fit again. Kyle Walker struggled, I think, this season. Gundogan was on the bench yesterday. At 29, he's not old. Riyad Mahrez at 28 is not old. And Kevin De Bruyne is still at his peak at 28 and is one of the greatest midfielders in world football. So those are not issues. The issues are defensively, they didn't replace Vincent Kompany. They're having to move. John Stones has struggled. Otamendi struggled. Mendy has had problems. Kyle Walker's had a poor season by the standards he's set over the last 5 or 6 years. And left back has been a nightmare for them as well. And you saw that again yesterday with Angelino coming in, struggled. So all those things have put another pressure on the rest of the team. And it just hasn't coped this year, domestically. But it might come together for them in Europe. And that might be where they say, look, we're not catching Liverpool, so we're going to put our eggs in that Champions League basket. And they might do it this year. It's unlikely in the form that they're in, but not impossible.
I was going to say, let's say that it doesn't happen in the Champions League, and let's say they remain off the pace in the Premier League as well. Do you think he'll fancy a bit of a rebuild in the summer? Do you think he'll want to take that on? He's still got a couple. Well,
he might do.
It'll be another year on his contract still.
Yeah, no, he might do. But I think he frustrated a bit last year in the transfer window. He might want to do it again, but he's always had a shelf life where he's been and thought, right, I've had a great time here, but I want to move on, take a year, come back somewhere else. That might happen. I think I've said to you before, I think Arteta, I think the chances of them hiring from within are strong. So I think that's why Arteta may sit back and distance himself from the Arsenal job, which is a shambles at the moment. So a lot for City to ponder over the next 6 months, but I think one of them is put all this, put these performances behind us, try and make a big run over the Christmas period where Liverpool could falter, get our main players fit again, Aguero, Laporte, etc., and let's make a run to the end of the season and see where we are. And I think Man City and him will probably take stock in the summer. People want to make a big drama out of it, but I always think you're allowed a bit of a blip when you've had so much success, and I think that's where they are just now.
Do you tell you what 50-50 come the summer that will be leading them into next season?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say it's 50-50 at the moment, just because of the time he's been at the club and how it's sort of moving forward at the moment. I don't think it's a guarantee. I don't think it's like, oh, he'll definitely leave, but I think there are some lingering doubts whether he'll want to take it onto that next step again.
Okay, well, Guardiola's team have assembled the least number of points in his 4 years so far after 16 games. The long way of the season remaining. Of course, the Champions League is very much still on the table.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.